We moved to Callaway Street in the summer when our youngest was 4 and our oldest was 9. It was a quiet residential street, the kind of neighborhood where people mow their lawns on Saturday mornings and wave from their driveways. We'd looked at a lot of houses before we found ours, and from the first walkthrough, it felt right. There were 11 houses on our street. We introduced ourselves to all our neighbors in the first few weeks, except for one. The house at the end of the street, on the left side, had its curtains drawn on every window every time I walked past it. There was a car in the driveway, an older model sedan that was always there, and the lawn was maintained just well enough that it didn't stand out. But in 2 months of living on that street, I never saw anyone come or go from it. I mentioned it to our neighbor across the road, a retired teacher named Margaret who had lived on Callaway Street for 20 years. I asked if she knew the person who lived there. She looked at the end of the street briefly and then looked back at me. "He keeps to himself," she said, and then she changed the subject so smoothly and completely that I didn't think to push it until later. I got the same response from the 2 other neighbors I asked, a brief glance toward the end of the street, a short non-committal answer, and then a subject change. Nobody was rude about it. Nobody seemed frightened exactly. They just clearly did not want to discuss it. I let it go. Some people are private. My dog Rosie was a 4-year-old Labrador, calm and friendly with everyone she ever encountered in her life. About 6 weeks after we moved in, I took her for an evening walk, and as we approached the end of the street, she stopped. She planted her feet and refused to move forward. I'd never seen her do that before. I coaxed her for a minute, and she wouldn't budge, so I turned around and went the other way. I told my wife about it, and we laughed it off as a dog being a dog. She did it every single time after that. Every walk, every time we approached within about 4 houses of the end of the street, she would stop and refuse to go any further. Eventually, I stopped trying to take her that direction entirely. The first time I saw the man from the end house was on a Tuesday evening in October. I was washing the dishes at the kitchen sink, which faced the backyard, and I happened to glance out the window that looks down the side of the house toward the street. He was standing in his front yard at the edge of his property, facing our house.